welcome back to my channel. So this is actual video take two. I actually got interrupted by a phone call and now nobody's answering. So yeah, I had to restart this video yet again. But we're back. I am back. Yes. And it is excruciatingly hot out here today. My goodness, I hope that you are staying safe and continuing to stay hydrated because it is ridiculously hot. Ridiculously hot. Also, because it is so hot, it is interfering a little bit with the live streaming. So if that's the case, you should be able to hear me with no problem. But the streaming, if it's a little blurry or anything like that, it will start to even itself out. So just kind of bear with me as that goes through, because not really much I can do about it at this moment. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into this video. I'm actually excited to do this video because it's a little bit lighthearted, more lighthearted than two of the videos that we're doing today. A little bit more lighthearted than the one that I did earlier. If you haven't gotten a chance to see that one, go ahead and check that one out. That's on the former CNBC analyst who was actually on the FBI most wanted list, and he has been arrested, captured after 3 years. So yeah, go ahead and make sure that after you're done with this video that you go back and check that one out, because it's quite interesting. And I wasn't sure how many people have really heard of that story, but I found it to be quite fascinating, and I just want to get your thoughts on it. So definitely make sure that you check out that video. And of course, if you are new here, welcome to the channel. If you've already a part of the community, welcome back. So glad to have you here. And of course, you want to make sure that you are subscribed if you're not already subscribed, so that way you don't miss an upload. And I do have another video, a couple more videos actually coming down the pike here for you guys, so I don't want you to miss out on those. So make sure you go ahead and make your notification bell is on all as well, so you don't miss out on those. So yeah, this one is going to be a little bit more of a kind of just a chill out video. So, you know, kind of sit back, relax. Want to know your thoughts, of course, your commentary and all that good stuff. So make sure you're leaving that in the comment section below. And I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, as you can see by the title, this is a bit of a roundup type of video, meaning that there was so many stories that I wanted to kind of cover and just things that I wanted to, share with you guys, that I got to a point where I wasn't able to solo focus on these particular stories. So I thought I would just kind of wrap them up into one video and kind of just go over each one and, you know, get your thoughts about what you felt about them. So yeah, it's probably going to go hopefully quickly, but I do hope that you enjoy. So we are going to go ahead and just dive right on in. The first up is going to be Miss Shannon Bedore from Real Housewives of Orange County. If you do watch Real Housewives of Orange County, drop that in the comment section. I am still watching it. It is in a hiatus right now. I think it's supposed to be coming back soon, maybe like the next franchised Real Housewives will be up on deck. I'm not 100% sure, because right now we have Real Housewives of New Jersey going on, and I don't know how close we are to the end of that season. So yeah, we'll actually be talking about them here today in this video as well. So love to get your thoughts on that if you're still watching it. I know that it seems to be a dip in the ratings for the Real Housewife franchise shows. So for me, I'm still watching them. You know, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, so I don't really get too caught up on you know, I don't know, worrying about it being Oscar nominated, Oscar worthy TV. So sometimes I just need to relax and not really think about anything. And, you know, the Real Housewives kind of give me that entertainment to just kind of just veg out in front of the TV and just chill out whenever I need to. So if you're like me, or you do really still really enjoy the shows, you know, let me know. That'd be really great. And if not, let's say you don't watch it or used to and don't anymore, you know, well, I hope you'll still remember some of the characters. And yes, I did say characters, because sometimes I feel like it really is just a show. But yeah, but we'll go ahead and get into it, because there was a few good stories that popped up this week, I thought, and I just thought I wanted to, you know, share with you and get your thoughts. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up our first story and get us started. So yeah, like I said, we were going to start off with Miss Shannon Bedore, and she, as you know, is on Real Housewives of Orange County. She's got a lot going on, which I guess that's pretty much par for the course when it comes to Shannon. I mean, it just seems like there isn't many opportunities in which she is kind of sitting idle. So yeah, it's she's got a lot going on to say the least. Let's go ahead and pop up our image here. There we go, Miss Shannon Bedore, all in the flesh. So yeah, this story that had popped up was actually about her and what is it, Scott Johansson or John Johansson? I think it's John Johansson, which is actually her ex now. So let me go ahead and pop that story up so I can reference that and we can kind of go through it. But yeah, I mean, at last I had checked when it came to Shannon, she had apparently gotten picked up, I think, for a DUI or something like that. And I believe it does mention that in this sharing as well. So it just seems like she's been going through it. And every season, she's always going through it. And so I was not too surprised. Sad to say that her relationship with John had come to an end. It kind of felt like that's where they were at during the last season that they aired. But, you know, it's still sad because at the end of the day, you know, I really want to see Shannon win. I mean, I just really want to see her win. I want to see her happy. And she doesn't always seem very happy to me. Now, mind you, she's happy with her girls and then her family structure outside of the men, I guess. So that's always a good thing, you know, but everyone's going to college soon and it's going to be Shannon on her own. I just would really like her to have a really nice relationship, you know, and, you know, she does seem like the type to be married. So if that's something she's looking forward to doing in the future, that would be great too. But I know she has a business, I think, out, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but so that's probably keeping her busy, but still it's like, you know, when you're in relationships, you just want to see the person win. So hopefully, you know, some great guy will pop up on her doorstep and, you know, she'll be able to have a season in which she's not having to cry that much, yell and scream and ostracize herself from the rest of the group because people want to talk about what's really going on in the relationship. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and just dive right on into Shannon's story, the one that is kind of, I guess, currently riveting the situation. And maybe they'll end up talking about it more in the next season of Real Housewives. So I guess we'll just have to see, because I'm not really sure if, you know, they'll cover it or not. But that being said, not to mention also too, there's going to be some messiness going on. And yeah, and I believe Alex or Lexis Belina, if I'm saying that correctly, is coming back. And now she's supposedly with John, and I don't know, that seems like a little bit of nasty work to me. But you know, I guess as the season unfolds, if nothing happens to halt the season from going forward, we'll probably see how everything kind of comes together, because I don't know how this is going to work out. I want to say it's the first time on any of the Housewives. No, that's not true, because I think Real Housewives of Orange County, I can't remember the names because I wasn't watching it those many years ago, but there was I think Slade might have been on it, Slade or something like that his name was, and he dated someone or was engaged to someone that was a cast member, and then he got engaged to Gretchen, and I don't know, Gretchen Rossi, is it Rossi? No, I don't think Rossi's the last name, but I think it's Gretchen is her first name. I'm not sure if they're married or if they're still engaged, but then he got with her, like, I guess some time after the previous housewife. Now that previous housewife, and I, you know, forgive me, can't remember her name. She was not on the show when Gretchen was on there. So at least you didn't have to see, you know, the dynamic of both of the ladies, ex and current, on the show at the same time. This season is going to be a little bit different. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to be really kind of on the edge of my seat to see how Shannon reacts to that whole thing, because, you know, in past episodes and past seasons, when it comes to Shannon, she can be very fired up about things. And I don't know if this is something she's going to be able to deal with as calmly as, you know, we would hope for her to, but I guess it will make good TV, and maybe that's all it's ever about. But yeah, but let's go ahead and get into this article. Now, basically, In Touch Weekly is sharing that, well, and no mincing of words, completely false, as Shannon Bedore's ex, John Jansen, slams RHOC star's claims in $75,000 facelift lawsuit. And that sounds like it's going to be a doozy. Real Housewives of Orange County star Shannon Bedore's ex-boyfriend John Jansen denied her claim the $75,000 he gave her during their relationship was a gift. In Touch can exclusively reveal. In Touch obtained the amended lawsuit filed by John that addresses Shannon 59's assertion that she had no obligation to repay him. Oh, Lord have mercy. That is a lot of money, too. Lots of money. Let's see how this works out for her. All right. Is this the right one? Okay. In Touch Weekly further shares that in March, John, 61, filed a bombshell lawsuit against the Bravo star, accusing her of failing to repay loans he provided her for plastic surgery. Shannon and John dated on again, off again for 3.5 years before ending things for good in January of 2023. In the suit, John accused Shannon of breach of contract and promissory fraud. He claimed that she asked him for financial support in 2022 for facelift. Okay. He said he wired her the $40,000 for the procedure. Now, in May of 2023, he said he provided her with another $35,000 via a personal check. John claimed Shannon had promised to repay the loans. In the legal paperwork, John said he asked Shannon multiple times to repay the loans, but she has yet to pay him. John sued for $75,000 plus interest on those loans. Shannon had told People that she was shocked and disappointed in her ex's decision to sue her. She said, "My attorney has been in constant communication with his counsel. I agreed to pay John what he wanted because I knew that attorney's fees would surpass the amount sought, but more importantly, to eliminate the negative emotional components that come with the lawsuit. It is important that I continue to focus on the positive aspects of my life and move forward." John declined the offer because he refused to sign a mutual non-disparagement agreement, an NDA. "I was hoping that if I met his baseless demands, we could at least use this as an opportunity to bring complete closure to this chapter in my life," she added. So it doesn't appear that she doesn't have the money to give. She just wanted to have some type of a assurance by way of NDA that nothing is probably said in disparaging each other. And quite frankly, I think that if that is the case, and I'm reading that correctly, that is probably a good thing, considering the fact that now they're supposed to be on the show, meaning Shannon and now Alexis and now John. And I think John was only on the show pretty briefly with Shannon in the last season or two, because I think it might have been on 2 seasons. So it would be helpful maybe not to have a lot of, mudslinging in the press and all that stuff up and coming to when the season begins and therefore after, because again, this is some tricky stuff, and getting with somebody's ex and being on the same show, that could be nasty business, but I guess we'll see as time goes on. Now, in his amended lawsuit, John addressed the claims the money was a gift. He said, "Defendant knew when she made her false promises and representations that defendant did not intend to pay for such services. Despite promising to repay both loans, defendant's subsequent actions have made clear that defendant's promises were fabricated and she never intended to follow through on her promises. For example, in an attempt to avoid her obligations to repay the loans, defendant now asserts that the loans were a gift from Mr. Jansen, which is completely false." John added, defendant intentionally made the false promises to Mr. Jansen to induce Mr. Jansen to loan $75,000 to defendant. His lawyer said actions were done with the intent to injure, vex, and annoy Mr. Jansen, or in conscious disregard of Mr. Jansen's rights and to benefit defendant. And punitive damages should be awarded to Mr. Jansen against defendant in amounts to be set forth at the time of the trial herein. John's amended lawsuit demanded the 5-figure sum plus punitive damages. In addition, he asked for reasonable attorney fees to the fullest extent permitted by law. Shannon has yet to file an official response in court, and John is currently dating Shannon's co-star, Alexis Bellino. The new romance will be featured on the upcoming season of RHOC, Real Housewives of Orange County. And Shannon has had a rough go, as we all know, after being arrested for driving under the influence last year. So my goodness, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, again, to me, it seems like Shannon has the ability to pay for the procedures, that she just wanted that NDA taken care of. But then at the same time, subsequently, there's a situation where I guess if he wasn't going to do that, she was going to then move forward with the fact of saying that she thought it was a gift. And I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think that it was a gift? I'll be honest with you. Me personally, I don't think it was a gift. You know, the tension between Shannon and John on the show was palpable, to say the least. And so I could only imagine, if I could feel that through the screen watching them, I could only imagine what it may have been like off screen. It just really didn't seem to me that they were really that into each other for the majority of the time that John was actually on the show. And last season, when he was supposed to be on the show with her, I want to say it was even more limited, but there was obviously some serious tension going on and issues where Shannon did not want certain things brought into the season. And the other ladies were trying to get, you know, the real scoop of what's going on. And I believe like Tamara had shared, you know, she had phone calls with Shannon over the period of, I don't know, months or weeks or whatnot, in regards to where Shannon was really, you know, sharing some things that were a bit disheartening about her relationship. And it was clear that it wasn't a amicable or a happy relationship at that. And it was very strained. And of course, without John being on the show on a regular, it just kind of added fuel to that fire. So I almost feel like that relationship was coming to an end probably when the season had started. And if I recall correctly, I believe that in the beginning of filming, Shannon was under the impression that the relationship was okay, at least good enough, and didn't think that there was any kind of break coming in sight. And then I want to say when the season ended or wrapped up is when he had basically said he wanted to break up with her. I think that's how that happened, when they finished filming, because when she came back for the reunion, at that point I believe they had already broken up. And you know, sometimes there's obviously there's a gap in time between the end of the season last show and the reunion, so therefore that last show would have probably could have been months before. So I'm not really sure how much time it was, but nevertheless they end up not making it past into the reunion for sure. So it just seemed to me like it was already on life support, their relationship. And I just don't think, in my thoughts, my feeling, my opinion, I'll say I wasn't there. I just don't see that this would have been a gift. He didn't give me the vibes or the feel that he would gift her something of that nature. It just didn't seem that way, you know, and they were not even engaged, just boyfriend and girlfriend and on and off at that. And I remember in the season, not this last season, but I think the season before, you know, there was an issue with time being spent, and then it kind of, you know, married itself into the current season. Well, the last season, which was the current at the time. And, you know, there was an issue with, you know, if they're going to live together. And I thought that was pretty odd that that was such a contentious situation. Now, it made sense if Shannon wanted to really focus on her girls, you know, going off to college, and then decided maybe that would be a better idea to kind of merge households once that was done. So it would be so much upheaval for them. But I don't feel like that was the only reason. It might have just been what we were told. And then I think something came out where there was apparently some tension between her and John's daughter. Not 100% sure if that was still the case, you know, obviously towards the end. I would imagine there would have been not much communication at all between the two. But yeah, there was some issues, some tensions with the kids. It wasn't all, you know, hunky-dory. So that being said, that's where we're at. So wow, I mean, it seems like this is a really big deal, and whether or not this will play out on the next season will be, you know, yet made to see. But what are your thoughts, if you have any, in regards to this situation? Do you think that it was a loan, or do you think it was a gift? I again think it was a loan, but let me know in the comment section below. Also, what do you think about the new season with having both Alexis and Shannon on the show, and then subsequently John coming in, but now not as Shannon's long-term boyfriend, now Alexis Valino's boyfriend? I mean, I just, again, think that's a bit nasty work there, but I guess things will unfold and we'll find out how this even happened in the first place. Quite frankly, I didn't think Alexis would ever grace the stage of Real Housewives of Orange County again. This will be her third comeback, I believe. that she started off some years ago and then came back, and then that didn't go too well. And then she came back, now she's coming back again. So I just thought that, the last time was the last time. So it will also be interesting to see the friendship dynamics, because I believe that there might be some tension going on between Tamra and Shannon as well. And that's being bled out into like real world, off of the show. So that'll be interesting to see how they come together on the show, if at all. Because now I'm starting to think about, well, what allies does Shannon actually have for the show? Because the only person I can think of that she was really super cool with was Tamra, right? Because then you have, oh gosh, I'm starting to forget some of the ladies' names. It doesn't take much. Emily and the blonde, I can't think of her name, the one from New York. If you can remember, can you drop it in the comment section, because I can't remember. But those two, they were really cool, and I don't foresee their dynamic changing too much in the next season. And plus the blonde, which I don't know why I can't remember her name, her and Shannon kind of had a bit of a falling out in regards to, her wanting to get more information, or like kind of be there as a friend for Shannon in regards to issues with John from the last season. And so they had a big blowout, and I don't really think they really recovered from that. So I don't see any one of them really being that tight with Shannon either. And then I know there was the new friend that was Tamara's that she brought on. There's some issues going on in real world between her and her man, and I don't remember her name, so I don't even know if she'll be here for the next season. And honestly, I think, you have Heather the Bro. Her and Shannon are always, they seem to kind of be hot and cold. Sometimes they're cool and sometimes they're not. And when they are cool, it seems fun. And when they're not, they're really not. So is she going to be, Gina, that's the blonde, Gina. Is she going to be Heather, allied to Shannon? Or is she going to, basically keep camp with Tamra and the other ladies? So I don't know. And then I kind of wonder, is this something Shannon can handle if she's like kind of, a little bit on her own? I don't know if she'll be able to handle that. And I don't think Vicky is coming back as a friend even. So who else is there? I don't know. So I don't know. Leave me your thoughts, below what you think about that. Definitely. I would love to know. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for that particular story. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to number 2, and that's going to be Miss Bethenny Frankel. And if you remember Bethenny, she actually was on Real Housewives of New York for a very long time, lots of years. And, she actually was on for a few years, started off, I believe she was from the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. And then she turned around and left and then came back. She might have left and came back a couple of times, not really sure. But Bethenny, actually, when her time on Real Housewives of New York, was one of my favorite cast members. I liked Bethenny pretty much, I think, from the start to the finish. Her and Luann going back and forth used to be really, really fun. But yeah, so, and then of course, that the revamp took place. So now all new ladies, they had their first season last year, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it did really well ratings wise. So I would imagine that will be one show that's not necessarily on pause, that eventually it will come back. We'll hopefully be able to have a good season with them. But of course, all the prior ladies are no longer on there. So if you hadn't been watching Rhony for a while, you'll see that they've got a new cast. And like I said, I think it was pretty good. So that being said, Bethenny has been, really busy doing a lot of different things. And, she's got her businesses. I don't know if she's still dabbling in real estate or not, but she was at one point. And of course, you might be famous, also famously know that, she has a podcast, and she's also talked about somewhat of putting together maybe a bargaining unit or some kind of union situation for the cast members of Bravo, period. I don't know where they're at with that, but I know there was some staunch support for that she was kind of moving that train along, but I don't know where they're at with that now. I haven't heard too much about it in the last few months or so. But, Bethenny pretty much seems like she is doing well, and I wouldn't expect anything else from her, outside of Rhony. And so she left before they actually did the reboot of Rhony, right? She wasn't there for the last season of the previous ladies from her cast. She left before then. So that was actually pretty good on her part. So she didn't have to get the heartbreaking news that I think for some it was, that they weren't going to be coming back or cast it period anymore on that show. So yeah, and of course you also might know that Bethenny does a lot of philanthropy. She does a lot of good causes, and bringing money together and resources for a lot of individuals in different areas. So she's got a huge what we say resume of things that she does. I remember when Puerto Rico was dealing with the hurricanes, it was a few years back, she really had got in there and got a lot of supplies and stuff for this citizens and the residents in Puerto Rico. So that was, I thought, was really, really a great thing that she did, and it took a lot of effort, and she really did some good stuff there. So yeah, she's very much known for that. I haven't listened to her podcast. If you have, drop that down, because I have not gotten a chance to really listen fully. I know she's had some other previous housewives that are no longer housewives on her podcast. But maybe one day I'll do a deep dive and go in there and check it out. But now Bethenny is an actress, not just a cast member on a reality TV show. She's actually a bona fide actress. And if you have been following me with any of my other modalities, you will know I absolutely love Lifetime. I am a Lifetime movie junkie, have been for years. And I just absolutely enjoy watching Lifetime on the weekends. I can veg out, catch up on all types of movies, all types of series they put together. I just love Lifetime. That is just one of the best networks out there for me. And a lot of our, I'll say a lot of, but quite a few of housewives have gone on to Lifetime and done movies and did really well on them. And so now Bethenny is the latest to kind of break into that. Now, apparently she debuted in her new movie, which is called Danger in the Dorm. And if you did catch that, it came out last Saturday, and I don't know how I missed that. So I'm gonna have to find a way to catch it on repeat or something, because I want to see, because it looked like it was really good. And I heard that it had really good reviews. So if you've seen Bethenny's new Lifetime movie, Danger in the Dorm, let me know down the bottom. And feel free to let me know if you thought it was good or not. You don't have to give me the plot and all that stuff. I kind of want to see that, so I don't want to spoiler alert it. But if you liked it or not, that'd be great. And if you saw it or not, and if I do get a chance to see it and I remember it, I might mention it here to let you know what I thought of it. But from what I understand, it seemed to have been really well. So let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit, see what she's got going on. So according to Reality Tea, Danger in the Dorm review, did Bethenny Frankel slay her Lifetime acting debut? I kind of feel like she probably did, though. So Bethenny Frankel has officially made her Lifetime acting debut with Danger in the Dorm, but is the former reality TV star and entrepreneur any good in front of the camera when she's given a script? Let's be clear. This isn't Bethenny's first time acting. She had 2 movie roles and a minor role in a TV show in the past, but this is perhaps her biggest challenge as an actor to date. And I didn't even know that. So have you seen any of her previous shows or movies? Because I didn't even know that she did any other formal acting. So I think that's pretty cool. And I just kind of feel like she was going to do it anyways. She was going to kind of succeed in this. But let's go ahead and see what Reality has to say. Basically, what is the Lifetime movie Danger in the Dorm about? Lifetime movie Danger in the Dorm is inspired by one of the earliest works of true crime writer Ann Rule. It tells the story of student Kathleen, played by Clara Alexandrova, following the unaliving of her childhood best friend at college. Bethenny plays Kathleen's protective mother, Joanne, who tries to insist that her daughter return home amid further attacks on campus. Of course, if that happened, there wouldn't be a movie. Is Bethenny Frankel good in Lifetime's Danger in the Room, or Danger in the Dorm, rather? It's hard to really judge Bethenny's acting performance in Lifetime's Danger in the Dorm. Interesting. For the most part, she seems to be leaning on her actual personality to convey the character of Joanne. Many of the lines she says to her on-screen daughter, you could imagine Bethenny saying to her real-life teenage daughter, Bryn. In short, she's playing herself. This will be interesting. Perhaps that's why it works so well. Bethenny sometimes struggles to reach the same emotional highs of Clara Alexandrova as Kathleen, who undoubtedly gives the movie standout performance, but she's still a real player. She channels her motherhood to convey exactly how you would expect a parent to respond in this dark and dangerous scenario. Clara is genuinely brilliant from beginning to end. She utilizes her acting expertise to take her character from a brooding young girl with all of her walls up to a strong and independent woman who recognizes that letting those walls down isn't a sign of weakness, but actually one of the bravest things you can do. Now, Danger in the Dorm review, what's the verdict? Well, according to Reality T, Lifetime's Danger in the Dorm is a predictable but watchable thriller. There aren't going to be huge surprises for those well-versed in this genre, but it's still worth watching all the same. I just wish there was more meat around the bones of the movie's final 20 minutes. There should be a huge crescendo of emotion, but it does fall a little flat. While Danger in the Dorm won't be heralded as one of the Lifetime's best, any Bethenny fan should get a kick out of seeing her perform. And who knows, maybe she'll be back for more Lifetime movie roles in the future. Well, I mean, I guess that seems, like, okay. I mean, it didn't seem like it was a bad review. And a lot of times it really is based off of what your opinion is going to be anyways, right? So I personally don't always go off of other reviews per se, even though I do reviews myself, so I gotta take that back, because I would share, but I also understand that everybody has their own thoughts and their own opinions about it. So I appreciate this review and I appreciate what they've shared, and now I know a little bit more about what the movie is about. And now I'm still looking forward to seeing it myself and seeing if I feel the same or if I feel differently. Now, I tend to be a little lighthearted on these kind of movies because it is Lifetime, right? It's not meant to be an Oscar-worthy movie unless it's talking about something. Well, I think this is based off a true story, so usually those are really good. But nevertheless, I just love Lifetime no matter what. I don't care. There was a period of time for Lifetime, I think like the 2014 to 2016 timeframe, where it was a little bit sketchy on some of the movies that they had, but then they quickly got their mojo back. And so I've been, watching them for so long that I kind of just forgave that situation and still kept supporting because there's so many great movies that have been coming out on Lifetime. So this is going to be one undoubtedly I'm going to watch. So again, I'm going to have to find out when it replays or however I'm going to locate it, maybe on the app or whatever, because I do think they have an app as well. But I do definitely want to watch it. So I'm going to. Are you going to watch it? Let me know down below. It seems like it's going to be good. Again, I really do enjoy any Lifetime movie adaptation, but I really do enjoy those that are based off of true stories as well, because they tend to get those right most times. So yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up for Bethenny's debut. But again, let me know what you think about that, and if you plan on watching, or if you have, and what you thought of it. So that kind of brings us to our final story, and that is of the Real Housewives of New Jersey and the issue with the cast feeling like they're walking on eggshells. And this is a little bit disheartening for me. Bravo is basically going through its trenches of, at this point, a lot of the popular shows are being put on pause. I think Summer House, Martha's Vineyard just got put on pause. Vanderpump Rules is going to be on pause. The only thing with Summer House is I don't think they expected it and didn't really know why. And from what I understand from Summer House, the season was pretty good. I haven't heard anything negative about it. And I also heard the reunion was good. And I saw a bit of the reunion, but not the whole thing. So I'd have to binge it at a later date. And Vanderpump Rules, I did watch all of Vanderpump Rules and the reunion. I think it was 3 parts, all at the time that it was actually airing. And, it was so emotional. There was so much going on. And it just really just seemed like, all in all, the cast needed a break, right? Scandal pretty much took all over the world, hit new heights that I have never seen any other type of reality TV show do, as far as, the scandal being highly talked about on major networks and news stations like CNN. It was so I don't know, it was so great of a situation. When I say great, not great like, it was a wonderful thing, but just the enormity of the kind of viewage that came to that situation. It was unbelievable. So you can only imagine what it would have felt like being in, on the cast, dealing with that in real life. So it was just so crazy. But it was a good season. Some things did come about that I expected to happen. They're unfortunate that they happened, but it didn't surprise me. So, whatever. I'm still Team Mariana, and I wish her the best. And I hope that she continues, doing whatever she needs to do. And maybe, this situation with Scandal, as horrible as it was for her to deal with personally, it's definitely springboarded her to other opportunities. And I hope she keeps on running with them, because if it was me, I'd be doing that exact same thing. Sometimes, you have one of those moments that is horrific, and then you get through it, and then, better comes on the other side. And maybe it was a relationship that at some point should have dissolved sooner. But, nevertheless, I think she's doing great. It's got to be difficult to actually, deal with that in front of everybody in the world at that. And then also then still work with the exes. I mean, again, how do you even do that? I mean, me, wouldn't be me. Now, is that nasty work too? But leave it to the cast. They're going to tell you, hey, we all need a paycheck, so it is what it is. But yeah, so it just wrapped up, I think, a couple of weeks ago. The reunion did, and but they're on pause as well. So I'm wondering if we're talking about that for Real Housewives of New Jersey. Also, there's a lot of issues going on with Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I'm really just saddened by that, because that was one of my favorite franchises. And so to see it kind of flailing the way that it is, it's just really, really unfortunate. And then you got Potomac, which, I always feel like any minute now I'm waiting for them to try to say something about that. And, because that also has kind of been waning a little bit, I guess, for viewership. I still watch it. I miss some of the older cast members that were on there that are not on there now. And then, of course, a couple more have left that I was like, I was okay with one of them leaving, but one I was, I felt a little sad about her leaving. But it is what it is. But yeah, so let's get into this one. If you are watching Real Housewives of New Jersey, drop that down in the comments. If you are no longer watching it, let me know as well, because I would really like to, know your thoughts, of course, about the show, what you think about it. Do you think it's on its, last leg or not? Or, what do you think about this article that we're going to talk about? So basically, Reality is reporting that the Real Housewives of New Jersey cast are walking on eggshells and are scared of speaking out. Real Housewives of New Jersey is facing some of its lowest ratings ever. And at this point, it's a little late for the cast to try and deliver. Viewers could likely point to several reasons for the show's dip in quality. The most prevalent might be Teresa Giudice's and ongoing feud with Melissa Gorga. But rumor has it, even the Queens of New Jersey are scared of losing it all. Oh, here we go, right? Here we go. Let's see. Reality further shares. If I can get my article up. They asked the question, are Real Housewives of New Jersey's low ratings Mel and Trey's fault? So what, Melissa and Trey's fault, Teresa. A source tells the U.S. Sun that producers blame the OGs for the series' low ratings. Moreover, the source said it seems like the cast is in part blaming Teresa and Melissa's feud for the poor ratings and the uncertain future. The insider continued, fans followed their relationship since Melissa became a housewife in season 3, and they want to continue to see the ups and downs. However, since the relationship became non-existent, ratings logically dipped. For more info on current ratings, it allows you to see the page that was associated with this particular article on TV Deets. So Reality TV Deets, if you want to check out the ratings for that. As for the reunion, the source said there was a date scheduled to tape the reunion for the end of June. And as of last week, the cast each got a phone call from the network and said to no longer hold the date because they're not going to have a traditional reunion. And we did see that had been breaking over the last week and a half or so. The insider assured readers it will become clear why there's no reunion. And I actually caught one of the Watch What Happens Live with Andy, and he had Teresa on there. And he did basically say, the way that the show ended, it just kind of seemed like it didn't really need a reunion. So we'll see what happens. Like, everything was answered and addressed and done, and they really didn't need to go through the whole, performance and pomp and stance of recapping this season. Obviously, no new clarity, no new anything was going to come of it. So what would be the point? Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion cancellation may signal a reboot. Reportedly, the reunion's cancellation has the cast extremely nervous. All of the cast is in the dark about the reunion, and even what's going to happen after the season is over. It's still too early to know about season 15, but everyone has no clue. With such low ratings and everyone's job potentially in jeopardy, the insider floated the possibility of a reboot. Kim DePaula also posted the likelihood of a reboot after the cast's reaction to the reunion's cancellation. It seems like the cast anxious about what's going to happen next and just waiting for another update. The source added, the cast is walking on eggshells. They explained they're scared of speaking out and possibly having it backfire and putting their job on the line. Apparently, the Real Housewives of New Jersey cast lives with the big brother watching over them. Execs are keeping a close eye on what they are posting on social media because there have been many leaks to fan pages. Andy Cohen had made his disdain for the leaks all too clear. Time might be up for the New Jersey cast as we know it. And of course, as of right now, Real Housewives of New Jersey continues to air on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central on Bravo. And I do think, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't it repeat on Peacock or something like that later on? I'm not really sure because I don't really watch it on Peacock at the moment. But yeah, so it seems like there's some trouble afoot, or at least it's leading into the fact that they want us to think there's some trouble afoot. I don't know. In my opinion, as far as it goes, when it comes to the Melissa and Teresa feud, I wish they would kind of find a way to get to some happy medium and get to some forgiveness. I don't really know why it's all completely just exploded in the way that it did. I mean, obviously you're watching what's happening. You can see actually why things happen, but it's behind the scenes that I'm trying to understand. And it just seemed to me like it's always been an issue from day one. And now it's before either one of them was on the show. I just don't think they really care for each other much. And it seemed like there was a lot, like most, unfortunately, lots of family members go through, lots of families go through. Sometimes when somebody gets married in a situation, the families do not merge well. So it is sad to me to see Joe and, kind of just away from his entire family, which really is only Teresa and the girls. Both their parents have passed on, and that was very sad to see that in real time for them. And then all of the troubles that Teresa had to go through with her and Joe. Is it Juicy Joe? And all those things, and then just all of the the girls and also Melissa's kids. Just growing up in front of us, really, is the most part. And so, and living their lives and moving on, going to college and doing all these different things. So it's just really unfortunate that there's so many life moments happening for them outside of the show even. And I don't think they're intending any of those. And there's no telling how long it's been. Now, I know that the camps are split. There's people who are team Teresa all the way, and there's people who are team Melissa all the way. For me personally, I feel like there's fault and right on both sides. And I don't really understand, honestly, why they just can't come together. I don't know what is the issue that's stopping that from happening. And I don't know if we ever really will. I mean, I know that there's a lot of speculation maybe because of some things, but I think there's just something much deeper. So are they ever going to get along? I don't know. Does it mean that we need a whole reboot of Real Housewives of New Jersey? I don't think so. I just don't really think I'm personally up for a whole new cast for them. I think that, Real Housewives of New York and the recast for that was like lightning in a bottle, and it happened to work. I don't know if that's going to happen twice. And truth be told, I don't know if I'm going to be interested, because now I'm looking at the upheaval of possibly of, Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I don't know. I'm not always into the new stuff. It takes me a while to get used to that type of stuff. And, a lot of these ladies, they've been on for years. We're invested in them. I don't know if I'll be invested in somebody new. And even with the situation with Real Housewives of Atlanta, there's a lot of nonsense going on that involves people who are not even cast members yet, right? Or were, but we haven't even seen them on screen, in other words. So, and the whole show is exploding. I don't know what is going on. So if no new friends, I guess, at the end of the day, if that's what it's going to mean, that it's going to take down the show or get rid of, some of the fan favorites, then I'd rather just stick with the ones you got and work it out. And maybe go talk to some of the ones that left and see if you can get them back on the show. I don't know. So do I think that the show is suffering so much because those two are really not talking right now? I don't really know, because there seems to be so much action going on with the other cast members. Like, Rachel and Teresa are going at it. Danielle and Teresa, I think, are cool, but sometimes I wonder if we're one episode away from a blowout there. And then, of course, Jackie Schneider is back on as a friend, and I think she's trying to find a way back on as a permanent cast member again. And now she's flipped sides, and she's not with Melissa and Margaret, and now she's hanging out with Teresa and Jennifer Aiden, real tough. And so, it's just a lot going on, but there's still enough, I feel, storyline that I almost not even paying attention to the fact that Melissa and Teresa are not talking, because I just feel like they haven't been talking for so long anyways. And truth be told, I get tired of hearing them screaming at each other. So if it means silence, I'm okay with it. I'll invest in some of the other cast members and what they're doing. And I do think that a lot of them did bring it, for their own personal storylines. I think Jennifer's, she had to deal with the whole infidelity stuff a couple of seasons ago. So, I'm okay with giving her a break. She still, gets in there and does what she needs to do. And Jennifer's Jennifer, and you also have Jennifer Fessler, and I like her. She's a nice add-on to the show as well. And of course, you got Dolores, who's kind of, that Switzerland individual, but, she knows how to come in and out whenever needed. So, I don't know if I'm really interested in a reboot, or we'll just have to see, I guess. But if you are still watching, do you feel like you want to see a reboot, or are you cool with the cast as it is? What are your thoughts? Are you team Melissa? Are you team, Teresa? And either way, it's fine. Like I said, I personally feel like, there's fault and right on both sides. And I just wish they just figure out, for the fact that they're a family, but, sometimes, family doesn't always get along. So, I guess we'll have to see. And I can see them being, nervous and concerned, especially if this is a main source of income for them and they don't feel like they'll be able to continue with, certain things a certain way without the show. Yeah, that would definitely, inflation is a real thing. So yeah, that would definitely be an issue. So I guess we'll just have to see. Time will tell, but hopefully they won't scrap everything. If they got to put them on pause, it'll be all in line with the rest of the shows at this point. So, but yeah, I would love to know your thoughts on all those stories. Make sure you go ahead and drop those in the comment section. And just let me know what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And yeah, I think that'll be wrapping it up for this particular video. And I do have 2 more videos coming out today. So make sure you've got your notification bells on. The next video that I have coming out is about oh God, heartbreaking story. Someone got released from prison earlier than I thought they would. So go ahead and make sure you stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming on later on today as well. And then I think I'm going to have one more roundup of some more stories, and that will probably be the last video for today. So make sure you got your bells on and I hope to see you back. And yeah, if you're gonna binge later, then I hope you have the rest of your day and evening fun as well. So with that, I'm gonna bid you adieu for this video, and I will see you in a few hours. Take care.